Finance for hippies, teach swag and ducky. Finance for hippies, teach swag and ducky. Finance for hippies, teach swag and ducky.
I'll start by way of providing a bit of background and introduction as to what is Finance for Hippies. My name is Don Salamanca. My character is of Latin descent. That's why I wear the hat everywhere and a coat, even if it's blazing hot. So you'll see me around the day, even if it hits 38 degrees, I'll be wearing the coat. I'm the most important host in the show. I am supported by my assistant over here. He usually fetches me coffee, usually gets the sugar wrong, but what can we do? We met in 2015 and came up with the idea to discuss a certain neglected topic in the art industry. And when we say art, we use quite a broad definition, which is the finances specifically to the artist and how there is little education, little to almost none education around how artists need to or should be able to manage their finances. Usually the starving artist is sort of like a rite of passage for you to become a well-known artist, and we question whether it should really be the case. I think we will kick off a trailer of season 2, which has been now completely recorded and will be released hopefully by the end of the week. This would give you a good idea as to the type of concept and show we do as to tackle that specific issue. Right? We really want to expand the discussions around finances, especially in the art field, which is something that usually takes the back seat quite dramatically. Episode something.
That's what's up.
That was a horrible intro.
Bro,
but I pulled it off,
yo. What up? A1 Wolf, bro. Welcome to Finance for Hippies, bro. For sure. We have Setla Morajo Mash Machine.
I was getting I think 2,000 euros a month.
Yeah. Damn. No, I need to be a residency check. MTV-based women who are killing it. Cultural influencer of the new wave. The lovely Miss Tembagazi Matroshe.
Art students go to study fine art, but there's not one course that teaches them about finance.
We got here Mr. Fry Pan.
What up?
Mfula.
What up?
Yo!
Behavioral science concepts that actually prevent us from being our best selves, from living our best lives.
You pay interest for the privilege of using the bank's money. That's a little fee that you pay for using other people's money.
And studies recently that are saying South Africans are paying sometimes up to 63% of their income is actually going to repaying their debt.
We're now sipping on more fire to cool us down with more fire. Fire against fire. Fire coming up. I bring to you Graham Beck.
South Africa Finance for Hippies Season 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the gentleman I carried for a full season, 10 episodes straight. He made no significant contribution to the podcast whatsoever. T-Swag.
What's up, everybody? And to everyone joining us online as well, thanks for joining our talk here. As Ndaki has explained to you, I am Teet Swag, professionally known as Mr. Media X, so I'm an artist. And obviously all the mistakes that we discuss on our platform are mistakes that I've actually made and I've seen all my friends and such things make. So to just give you a quick breakdown, I'm going to give you guys just a little rap verse because I speak better through the poems, through the poetry. So I'm just going to explain what our story is and then we're going to keep it flying. Are you guys okay with that? Just some poetry. So this is the story of how we met. All right. So 2015, I was a cool kid. I met Ndaki. Ndaki told me, Teet Swag, I said, the man. I said, no ways, dude. Art over money. Art over money. And Ndaki was like, nah, let's make this money. Sorry for that.
We'll mention there's a mixtape out, so if you're keen on being hip and urban, please download the Finance for Hippies, Get Rich or Die a Hippie.
Exactly. So I actually forgot my lyrics there, but he protected me. But the basic emphasis of that, yeah, you know, we met and we were basically meant to, we had this idea of this podcast. He was like, I told him of the struggles I was going through. He wanted to get into the art space and understand it more because he didn't look like this. He was dry. He was not exciting and to look at and to engage with. But he came from the corporate sector. He had all the knowledge, of money management and such things. So we basically thought that, hey, let's get this platform. Let's try see if we can have a podcast to have these conversations, because when I was getting into my career as an artist, there was nothing like this. I pretty much winged the first half of my career quite successfully, but it was not much fun to be living month to month and not knowing what to do. And this is basically what our platform is about, and we obviously here to bring those conversations to people in a fun and engaging way. That's fun to do.
I think that we can then discuss throughout the season. We have two seasons that will be out by the end of the week. Throughout each episode, we discuss various topics regarding finances. This ranges from basic financial topics that usually are not explained to artists to a bit more complicated matters that we try and simplify by bringing certain guests who are experts in the field. I think we range from, we ask questions when we asked why artists do not have medical aid, why artists do not save for pension, matters of that nature, we tend to expand the discussion and see why they usually do not make those standard financial decisions that the normal civilian would probably do. And today's topic, we are specifically always orientated around the issue of money. Specifically, we want to discuss how an artist can position themselves in whatever market they choose to operate in, to place themselves to achieve the goal that they really want to achieve. There is the concept of the secret, I'm sure we're all quite familiar with. But I think one thing that's understated with that concept is that you have to be in the position to receive whatever you're trying to attract. It's like, I don't know if you guys are on Twitter or not, the kids are always sibawelling, they're always lighting candles on Twitter, asking for this, asking, Maldives holiday, asking for Mercedes-Benz. But the question is, are you in that position to actually eventually go on that holiday to Maldives? Are you in that position to earn enough income to generate, to buy a Mercedes-Benz? So this is the topic that we felt needs to be discussed, where we look at how you put yourself in the market to attract those things that you really want. Sometimes you are in the market and for some reason you're looking for specific things, yet they do not seem to come to you. You don't seem to attract it. Tiff?
Yeah. So that's basically it. That's the premise of today's show. And obviously, what we'll usually do for our audience is we get the best and most accomplished guests to discuss the subject matter. So. The two lovely ladies sitting here fit that profile as per se. So I'm going to just explain to you guys who we do have sitting here. So the first lady dressed in black, who looks very much like somebody I know from Durban, and I think she's been told that a lot before. Who do you look like?
The artist, Nana.
Nana or Nosiha?
Nasihe.
There we go. Yeah. All right. But she's an award-winning graphic designer, and she's the founder and director of Soul Studios. She has done some really, really amazing design work. You were the Durban 2019 Durban Creative Awards Designer of the Year, right? And yeah, I think just from my engagement with you over the last few months, I think we have had opportunities to kind of see if we can work together, but I've really liked seeing how you put your work out there, how you position yourself out there, and you know the kind of things you're doing. So I thought you'd be a brilliant person to kind of have this discussion with the audience in terms of understanding how you're doing that, what's your thought process around it, and how to all do it all looking good, with swag as well. That's also important for all of us here. And then our second guest is Nonka Mbonambi. She is from Watuwuza.
Yeah, I was born in Watuwuza.
All right. I know you were born in Watuwuza, and then you moved where for?
I was born in Watuwuza and then moved to the Free State when I was 2.
So you speak Zulu and?
I'd like to say I'm South African. I speak 6 of our official languages.
Sabon would be very important. So she's a curator and an artist and a council member of the National Museum. So she has curated a lot of public mural exhibitions as well. You recently did a project with the Sibaya Trust as well.
Yes.
Around creating murals about COVID awareness. And I mean, you've also got some beautiful like work that you create as well as an artist. So curators' perspectives in terms of positioning, I think you have a beautiful way of which you are moving around as well within the industry. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us here. And yeah, we try to look as good as we can, but as you can see, we are very limited in how far we can go. So we think you're balancing the scale and bringing some real needed quality to the platform. And yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about yourselves in terms of how you
Joyce, you can definitely maybe give us a brief bio by yourself or about yourself, and then we rotate around that topic of how you like to position yourself in the market that you operate in.
Where do I look at you guys? So my name is Rejoice Kunene. I'm originally from Iskawini in a small flat township in KZN, up north KZN, and moved to Durban in 2012 to go further my studies at Vega. I did brand creative communication there finished 2014. In 2014, I went and worked for FCB in Durban, then which was under Framework, which was under FCB. That's where I learned most of my branding style. So literally worked on rebranding Telkom. We rebranded when Vodacom was changing from blue to red. I was part of that team as well. So my branding experience was literally birthed at that agency called Framework. And then moved on, decided to work for a brand, just to have an experience of how to run a marketing strategy for just one brand instead of working for an agency, because agencies also, there's a lot of politics in there. We'll probably get into it later when we have a conversation. Then I went to work at Home Cloud as an art director, did the marketing strategy. It's a telecommunications company. I learned how to build websites there and learned Facebook marketing. And then now I had a full range of branding experience, from branding brand manuals, creating logos, to building websites, to doing social media marketing. So now I was like, okay, now I think I've got a good base to start my own thing. So I started freelancing while I was working at Home Cloud, because it's not wise to leave. Basically, Home Cloud was security. I know there's money coming in every month, so I freelanced on the side. Then I negotiated to get Fridays off, so I can focus on my freelance. One reason why I negotiated to get Fridays off, they weren't paying me enough. I did a whole presentation on how much art directors are being paid in Durban and how much art directors are being paid in South Africa, and then looking at how in the 6 months that I've been there, how their finances have grown, and also the audience has grown in their social media engagement. And then
You did this at the company?
At the company.
Sure.
Then, thank God they were willing for the employees to talk. You just need to give them a proper reason why they should give you a raise. So they gave me Fridays off and an increase, salary increase. Then I stayed there for 2 years. After 2 years, I branched off and did my own thing. And when I branched off, only when I had 4 retainers, then I decided, okay, now I can live off Soul Studios.
Asking for a raise is one of the most scariest things next to public speaking, especially for an employee. Especially if you are a young employee.
Yeah.
Usually,
6 months.
Usually what happens is a very emotionally sensitive topic, and usually when you're coming in as a junior in a career, they usually underpaying you, and you do not know how to tactfully navigate that discussion. Finance for Hippies, in some of our episodes, have always recommended that young artists try and maintain a certain level of emotional maturity when they're tackling these topics, because usually it's quite an emotionally charged topic, and it starts by saying, I feel you guys are ripping me off, which is not the best way to tackle it. I'm glad you managed to pull out PowerPoints and show them exactly where they're ripping you off.
She was creative about it. I had to. Otherwise, they were like, let's get another designer who would actually, they would pay less than what they were paying, because that's what happens. There's always someone who can replace you, who they can pay less.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nonka, you?
So, where do I start? First of all, I'm the black sheep in my family. I'm just putting it out there. I was born in Stanger in KwaDukuza. And when I was 2, my parents had to send me to like a boarding preschool. And then I moved to the Free State. Yeah, when I was 2, then I moved to the Free State. And from there, I moved to Johannesburg in my first year, which was in 2009. Yeah, so I'm a Joburger, technically. So how I started off is I've always loved drawing and painting. I've always been a creative at heart. And I went to study at Vega, and I dropped out in my 2nd year. And then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a graphic designer or an animator. I want to go to fashion school. And then I left, and I went to Lysoff. Then I started fashion at Lysoff. And then again, I dropped out in my 2nd year. And then my parents were just not having it. They were like, what do you want to do? And then I actually had this conversation with myself, like, what do I really enjoy doing? What do I do and not leave halfway? And that was literally making art. And so I told my parents, I want to open up my own art gallery, and I want to move back to Durban, because I saw a gap in the market in KZN. I realized that a lot of people, especially women of color, don't have a platform where they could actually just walk into a space, show their artwork, and be given an opportunity to exhibit their works, you know. So I opened up my own space in Durban, and I called it All Art Gallery. To me at the time, that seemed so cool. You know, it was fitting. So I opened up my own art gallery, got my parents to loan me a bit of money, which I still haven't paid back.
It's on brand with us. Very on brand.
And so I ran that for about 2 years. And then I was like, maybe it's time to move up to Johannesburg again and try to do this in Joburg. Fortunately, I met up with a woman at a conference in Durban that was, at the time, the minister of, I forgot what she was, but I met up with the Naledi Pandor, and then I just, because I'm so talkative, she was actually giving a talk there, and then I engaged her like everyone else in the audience, and then we kind of clicked, and then after that I told her what I do, what I'm about, and then I'm moving up to Johannesburg. And she explained to me like that there was a position opening up at the African National Congress was looking for a curator for their archives unit. So I applied for the position, and bear in mind, everyone that was there was old, and I was the only young person there. So when I came in, they were all talking about how, comrade, what we need to do now. I'm just like, you're actually not going to get anywhere if this is how you guys are going to work. And eventually, I got the job. I started working as the national curator for the archives unit, which is, so that means I handled their archives in Forte, all their artworks in different museums. If they had an event, I would have to be in charge of curating those spaces. So, and I worked a lot with the museums in Bloemfontein, which is where we keep the art bank. So after that, I think 2 years ago, I realized that my time there is done, because I felt very restricted because it's very politically driven. And I felt like I wanted to work in a place where I could actually change policies, you know, instead of just sitting in a political office. I want to be a decision maker. I want to be able to influence those that change policies, that draw up policies. So I moved from there. I applied for a position at the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, and I realized that me being at a council member, I could be more impactful than working in a government, in a political party. So I ended up working as a council, sitting as a council member at the National Museums, and I also run my own agency, which is called Curator, where I assist young women of color that want to exhibit their works, or just trying to get art supplies, or trying to get money to travel overseas to actually go see other art spaces or get residencies. So that's what I do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Finance for Hippies encourages engagement across different entities, government entities, private sector, individuals. So we're very happy that you managed to get a position where you're able to change things, hopefully for the better, because it's not a fight that should be fought by either the private or individuals. So next time we'll try and invite maybe a person holding a public office in the arts field to see if they can, tell us how they plan to encourage and promote art in South Africa. Teeth?
No. I think that's fresh. I think you guys are. I just told you that I winged my first half of my career. Now listening to you guys, I'm like, what was I doing all this time?
We'll add that he's also the black sheep of his family.
And yeah. But I have a very understanding family. I need to also go about that. Yeah. So just to then get into the
topic of the day.
Into the topic of the day.
We decided to break down certain points to highlight the topic of the day, which is how to better position yourself in whatever market you want to outperform in. With the discussion between Teeth and I, we found that the following points, if they're covered well, one can really find some success in whatever market they've chosen. One is obviously a market is very big, especially the art market. You eventually have to choose which market you want to operate in, and one key factor in there is what do you want to get out of that market? Is it commercial success, which is, I found coming into the art industry, that it's very shunned on. No one wants to put money first, commercial success first. It's always about quality of work, the street credibility that you get. For me, it was a bit weird coming into the market where finances, the bottom line is not key. But for me, it's something I push, that artists need to always be successful, even commercially. The second point that we thought is important was brand positioning. Then obviously one other key point was the moves that you need to make in order to get to that specific position in the market. And the last thing is how do you get to that specific, those type of moves? Do you conjure them up yourself? Do you innovate them? Or do you maybe use mentors that are available? Do you replicate other processes that have already been done? And we believe after covering those points, the artist, after listening to this, will be able to see where they want to be and try and find a way to gravitate to that position.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much the premise of how we'll be running through this discussion. So obviously, looking at the first core point of market positioning, I think one thing that I've seen that is usually very critical for any artist or creative who's wanting to get into the space and be able to function and work is understanding their definition of what success is. Daki has just said that it was the first time he got into a space when he started working with me where he was like, the money doesn't seem to always be a deciding factor in this field. How did you guys figure that out? Maybe you can start, Nonka, and explain. How did you see your definition of success? How did you understand your definition of success?
Okay. I think I'm going to speak about mostly within the visual arts. Yeah, visual arts industry. A friend of mine and I were having a conversation about what success is to us. Well, and I realized that success to everyone is different. Because to me, as a visual artist, to me, success is being able to be exhibited in an art gallery and being archived there. So my kids in the next 30 years can be able to read up about the things that I've done, my work, you know. If you look at a Nesta Nala, you can literally go into the archives of Goodman Gallery or National Museum and actually find documents that are written about her work, you know. For me, it's not about money. Well, actually, let me not say that. It is about the money. But I think what's important for me, what success is for me, is being able to be archived in a place where anyone can access it and learn more about me and my work. And it triggers an emotion in those people. Instead of me having my artwork put up at a Mr. Price home to be sold to everyone. That's success.
I guess the give and take between commercial success and that type of success that you're defining, would you say you would naturally give up commercial success to attain that specific goal?
Definitely, definitely. Without a doubt.
Okay, this goes against finance morals. We are strictly about the money. We are trying to get the money, but we
can get both. Yeah, you can get both.
Yeah,
it just
for
takes
sure,
longer.
for sure. I won't lie. You find artists that, for some reason, have it all: the money, the success, the respect, and what have you. But with multiple goals, it's a bit difficult to really achieve all of them. There's always a compromise that we find the artist has to do. And for some reason, in this industry, they, unlike any other industry, they don't have a problem compromising commercial success. It seems like in this industry, it's the first thing to give up before, other than getting any other, what we call is hotness. For us, you get that hotness at any cost, even at the cost of commercial success, which for me it goes against how I've come up in my career. So everything has always been margin based. Sector that you go in has to be high margin, high profit. You make commercial success, and then you use that commercial success profits to go and do what you want to. But in this art industry, it's very, very different, which is, I believe, leads to the struggling artist issue that we have there, in that, you have artists that are doing great work, but unfortunately are not very successful commercially, which then drags down their career, and unfortunately they can't do more than they potentially could do.
Yeah, so Rejoice?
Defining success.
Can I call you Reg?
Reg, yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Reg.
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 Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
how
it's
do
fine.
with that?
Defining success for me is literally about freedom, the sense of having more time. And saying more time is more time also to do other things outside of work. that sometimes link. Look at my, I don't know if I should call it success story, because I am now only living my dream now. But COVID just messed it all up. But I now feel like I have time, not enough time, but I feel like I've got time to do passion projects that I've been putting on hold because I couldn't do none of them because of the 9 to 5. And also all driven by being comfortable. So I don't literally just, I've been wanting to start my passion project, but didn't have the funds to do so. So it's all about working smart and not hard. So I'm not leaving my 9 to 5 completely to focus on my passion projects. So literally for me, success means freedom and having more time to do the things that you love, but also not neglecting the fact that you need money to be able to survive in this world. And for me, ideally, I just want to be able to work anywhere in the world and still achieve what I'm achieving now. And COVID has made it, affirmed it to us that we are able to do that, to work from anywhere in the world and still deliver.
One thing I noticed about your profile is that you serve a certain section of the market in the industry that you, and it's purposefully done so. What made you and how did you select the certain type of market you want to serve, clientele? Because we believe that the artist also has to make that decision eventually, either by the type of work they do and by maybe the pricing and where they want to place the product. But how did you decide to which market you want to serve?
So initially, the idea, I love working with meaningful work and working with people that are making a difference in the world. So I work a lot with NGOs, NPOs, socially active businesses and brands. So in Soul Studios, that's its heart. So those are the brands and businesses or people that I approach. So in 2019, I was very deliberate and intentional with who I'm engaging with. I went to all the NGO expos. I got an opportunity to go to London to Future Academy. That's where also I met a lot of people that are in that space. And I realized there's a gap, that space is neglected. And so many brands also have CSI programs that are neglected visually. So it's like, if I come in that sector and help out visually doing their annual reports, digital annual reports, doing the campaign that they currently running. I love doing campaigns as well, especially for NGOs, because there's results at the end. It's either are they looking for funding or are they looking for people to engage with them, how to engage with stakeholders. So for me, I've positioned myself in that space. I know it's nice to work with big brands and that have big budgets, and I realized that NGOs do have big budgets. So I'm like, I'm not lost. I'm very happy where I'm at. Yeah.
I think you raised a very important key element, which I would behoove the artist to do, is to always look at finding that gap, that underserved market. Usually there's good margins, good budgets that people are willing to pay a good figure, but unfortunately there's no service providers. I believe you and I, Teeth, we are in a specific market gap. We found a specific gap. Describe that gap for us, please.
The check gap.
Yeah, it's, for us specifically, we're serving a market where the artist had never had a source of knowledge or a platform where they encourage discussion around them solving specific problems that they have in the market. So it's interesting to note that I think once you have cornered your little gap, then an issue, you no longer have a issue of money, or you'll have problems with making it financially successful.
I think also a word that I liked you using was intentional, because within the art as per se, money is just taboo.
Yeah.
Like I've got friends who are artists who, ever since we've been working on this, it's just like money is just taboo. It creates a sense of discomfort, but there's this thing where we are trying to kind of break down that a relationship with it is important. And I think that's one thing that you had said in terms of being intentional. And I think Nonka as well. What in terms of you being intentional within your decisions that you make, have you found that's helped you as well?
Yeah, I think also in general, I'm just a very frank person. So if I feel like this is my value, I'm going to tell you exactly what I want. And if you can't give me that, I think it's okay for you to walk away from other projects. You know, if a brand reaches out to you and they say, hey, I need you to do this for me, and I have X amount of money. And if you feel like that's not enough for you, and they're not valuing your time, then walk away from that project. And then at least the relationship is there, that they'll know that next time when we approach Nonka, we'll need to give her 100K for 30 minutes. You know, I think that's very important. And I think also it's not, when we look at a lot of young creators, it's not, I won't say it's not our fault, but we come from a background where money is just not there, you know. If you look at our parents and our grandparents, they don't like to talk about money much. And also because, it's not that I don't want to talk about it because it's taboo, they don't talk about it because it's just not there, you know. We're living hand to mouth, especially as Black people. Centers where young people or young creatives can go there and be mentored and educated about the creative and cultural industries and the different phases within this industry, such as money, how to build brands, and also building a brand. At times, it requires a team, you know. A William Kentridge isn't a William Kentridge because he's good at what he does. He just has a great team around him, you know. It's like marketing. You need to have a great marketing team. You need to have a president has a spokesperson. They have an entire team around them in order for them to shine. So as an individual creative as well, you need to have a team around you that's going to help you build this brand, and you're just the face of the brand, you know. So I think it's very important, because then you'll have someone who's advising you in terms of money. You'll have someone who's doing your social media presence. You'll have someone that's actually telling you, hey, today your calendar, you need to be here. You have targets that you need to meet. So I feel like a team is very important, and that actually assists you with having money and not needing to have that money talk with your client. Then you'll have someone who's actually dealing with that on your behalf. You just deal with this one person like, hey, for this project, I expect to get X amount of money. You deal with that.
That perfectly leads us into the next core item that we believe the artist needs to really look into, which is branding. We have a coach here, which I will not say who it's from because Keith felt that it was a bit, but it's okay. A brand is a perception, and perception will match reality over time. We, as Finance for Hippies, we fully believe in branding. We orchestrate our looks, we orchestrate the topics that we discuss. We always ask the question, is it on brand? We've encountered lots of artists which struggle with branding. And yesterday when we discussed this matter, I asked the question, I'm a noob in the art world, so excuse the question. I always encountered artists that paint beautiful art, but when I look at them themselves, they look like a very normal person in themselves. They from the art, and you look at them, it seems to be a very stark difference between the two. How important is branding? Maybe we'll start with you, Rejoice, in terms of for the artist, and what are the key elements that usually, is it required? Is it really that necessary? Can you really get to the top with just your hard work, or do you really have to be the artist yourself? Like Teeth is wearing all sorts of patterns. He is the the art himself. Do you have to?
I don't think so. But also it depends on who you are and who you want to attract. Some people dress a certain way because they want to attract a certain kind of people. So it's like, I'll put dating. When you want to date someone who's in a corporate space or who's in formally in that space. Yeah, it's like that. So you'll dress in that sense. Some people, arts is an expression and form of expression. So some people want to express themselves through art and just be wear all black and no makeup. And that's them expressing themselves as well. Maybe they want you to know them through their arts before you get to know them. And then there's people who would express themselves with how they look, that interlinks with their art, and it goes hand in hand. I look at my personal work. I've been struggling so much to find my own distinctive style. I answer briefs perfectly. Give me a brief, I'll dissect it, I'll give you the product, or I'll produce what you need. But in terms of personally, when people say, "What's your style, Rejoice?" I'm like, I can't put a finger on it. But then I'll show you my work, and people will look at me and look at the works like, "Okay, you did this," you know.
Yeah.
So I've gotten used to that. So I'm also still in a journey of trying to figure it out. Who's Rejoice as a designer?
Yeah.
And if ever I find that stuff, also it's a journey. It's not, I know I'm a bit hard on myself at times, but there are artists who I look at, graphic designers who have find this distinctive style and are doing very well. I'm like, I would like to get to that level. But at the same time, I don't neglect the fact that I'm putting someone's ideas to perspective.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the greatest achievement as well. So I don't think it doesn't have to. Yeah, it doesn't have to. You as an artist or as a human being expressing yourself however. And especially once you know who you are, it's easier for you to then target the people that you want to interact with.
Let me rephrase this question to Teeth Swag, because I'm sure you'll have a difference in opinion. Do you have to be fly for your work to be fly?
No. It's actually funny because you usually we get into this debate all the time. So he usually subscribes to this thing of the artist needs to just be the art at all times and be crazy and not know what time it is of the day and just be all immersed in the art. I think it's a personal decision. For me, it's a case of where's the fun in that. For me, it's important to enjoy it as you're doing the work. I look at and appreciate his work that I see somebody's enjoying and having fun with it. So it definitely is a personal matter, but it is all anchored by the value of quality work. Nonka?
Yeah. I'm 50-50 on that one. I'd say yes and I'd say no at the same time. I look at artists like, I don't know if Isaac Zavali, I think. Yeah. Okay. So he's Isaac Zavali, right?
I think it's
so he paints. And what I like about his work is that when you see him in the streets, he has a very grungy, hobo-ish look, cool hobo look. And then when you see his work is impeccable. It's crisp, it's clean. And then you look at the artist, you look at the work, you're like, how is this you, And then, but his work is amazing. So I also don't think that it's important how you look. I think your work speaks for itself. And mostly that it's your team or how you present yourself through your work. So I really don't think that.
I've actually got a follow-up question on that.
Yeah.
When it comes to, because you brought it up earlier as well, the idea of a team. So you're trying to build a brand to position yourself in some certain kind of way. Me, 3 years ago, when I think of a team, I think I don't have money for a team. Those are initially challenging when artists go like, I can make this good work.
If I'm terrible on social media, I hardly post. And I have a partner that's amazing on social media, knows how to position themselves on social media. So I have my partner literally do all my posting, anything that's on social media, my partner deals with that. I'm terrible with checking on my emails. I'll have someone who helps me with that. Like I share my email with my partner. So whenever I receive an email, he also receives it. So he'll quickly, if it's something important, he'll be like, did you check your emails? And I'm like, okay, cool, let me check now. And then I'll get onto it. Have people around you that you can benefit from, and they can also benefit from you. I'm good with finding with getting funding. I'm good with going out there and getting you a brand, affiliating a brand to a brand, an artist and a brand. I'm good at linking those two together, you know. So my peers know that if they need something or they need to reach out to a brand, they could always reach out to me, and then I know someone who knows someone that actually could link the two together. So I genuinely believe it's the circle you keep. It's the people. Yeah, it's collaboration. They know that.
Value exchange.
Yeah, it's like battering, basically.
Sorry, Rage seemed like
Oh, no, it's saying, I'm thinking collaborations make sense. Because I also don't have a team, but then I work with freelancers. So if I have so much work that I can't handle by myself, hey, call up a friend, here's a project, this is how much it will cost me, and this is the percentage I'll give you. And if they say yes, or they'll recommend someone that they know. So it's all about who you know as well, everywhere actually.
So you think even if I can just paint, or I'm a printmaker, you think there's ways that, you know,
Definitely.
I can reach out to you and see how we can be of service to each other.
Yeah, but it's nice to have a stable team where you know there's an admin person, that's a finance don, but also over time, if you don't have the funds, as you said, you don't have the money to have the team, you use your friends. Not use, but like you partner and collaborate with your friends and pay them what's due to them with what you have.
I follow the music industry quite a lot. We've got a mixtape out, a second mixtape coming out, The Rise and Fall of Don Salamanga. Thank you. In the music industry, there's a lot of trying to garner a lot of attention, and usually it's used. They use tricks of the game, more specifically gimmicks. Do you think gimmicks have a place in terms of gathering some needed attention? Because I think as an artist, the worst thing that can happen to you is to be ignored. So if you're at the point where you feel that you need to get some followers, you need to get some attention on what you believe is a great product, is it stooping that low to go into doing things such as gimmicks or tasteful attention seeking moves?
I don't see a problem in gimmicks. Listen, if you need to get the bag, get the bag. That's what I believe in. Whatever works for you, works for you. If you feel like, hey, gimmicks work for me and it gets me paid, that's on you. But I personally believe in slow brewing pots, you know. Okay. If I have 5 followers on social media, those 5 followers follow me because they believe in what I'm doing, they enjoy my content. Instead of me having 20,000 followers where 90% of them are bots, you know. To me that doesn't make sense. So I'd rather, I'm an oldie at heart. It's like wine and jazz, you know.
I'm pretty sure Teeth would prefer the 95% bots.
It's just spam me. If I get to that million, I'm done.
Yeah, no.
My phone is off forever.
Definitely. We can move to the next key anchor that we believe artists need to really develop, which is reputation and professionalism. There's a standard way of operation, business acumen that's required. In the art industry, I found it's quite flexible, meaning that artists do not reply to emails, artists do not come back to you in time. How have you guys seen, in your experience, impact the career of an artist? Obviously, I'm pretty sure you'd prefer to work with an artist who's always on time, responsive, you know, professional. But generally, the truth of the matter is, artists are in their emotions most of the time, and that leads to a 1-star Google rating if they were a company. What's your opinion on that, Rejoice?
For me, it's taken me a while because juggling a 9-to-5 and freelancing at the same time was a struggle in the beginning, because I would literally put the freelance work on hold during my 9-to-5 time. Then after 5, I'll then attend to it. Then I learned communication is key. So it's just all about having proper layouts, proper communication style with your clients, telling them from the get-go, I only work from 5 till So I'll get back to you around this time. But now it's different because now I'm a full-time freelancer. So now it's all about time management. I use tools that help with that. To make sure that I answer my emails. My emails always open. Sometimes the problem is with me when I zone out, I switch off my phone.
Yeah.
So that's the only problem I've got. But then I get back
Yeah.
to the client, or I call back, or I text. Recently, I just 2 months ago, I'm still trying to recover. I back up my work at least once every 2 weeks, and I lost my hard drive and my computer crashed, and I lost most of my work.
Nonka felt your pain.
Yo, I was hacked. I literally had a good cry, and still trying to recover. Now I'm seeing, okay, I've recovered some work and I've recreated some work. Now the clients who have come back with changes, and I realize the open files are lost. So I have to recreate that. Sometimes just a little change, I'm like, this could have literally taken me less than a minute to get done.
Yeah.
But now I have to explain again, okay, this will take me another 2 days. And also, it's like their time. Now it looks like I'm not sufficient. Like I'm very pedantic with my work. I try because I like being told how to do things and when is the deadline. So I manage expectations. So this 2 months, I'm literally just, my head is spinning. But I'm feeling I need another month just to recover, and then I'll be good. So it's just communication.
For me, it's I've actually learned this within the past year or so. I think planning is the biggest thing for me. Planning. And I'm a big procrastinator. I feel like I'm the biggest procrastinator in the world. I'd be like, no, tomorrow. Oh, 5 minutes. And then it never happens. I think planning is a really big thing. And with clients, most of the time, if just being punctual, number one, is the biggest thing. Punctual, responding to emails, just making them feel like they're important. And even if it's just an email being, hey, I acknowledge your email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I think that's professional for me. And that actually makes the client want to work with you again. My work could be whack, but if I literally am a professional person, I'm punctual, and I deliver, they'd rather go for me than go for someone whose work is amazing, but is not punctual, doesn't deliver on time. So I think punctuality and professionalism is actually a big thing.
But where does that disease come from within artists as per se? I know more than enough
I think we're caught up in our own emotions. Like artists are very creative.
Like I'm that guy.
When it feels right.
Yeah, when it feels right. So I use that card a lot when I'm lazy because I after hours, so I get home and I paint. So my partner's always like, when are you going to finish this? When are you going to finish this? I'm like, it just doesn't feel right today. You know, it's not that it doesn't feel right today. I'm just being lazy, you know. So I genuinely believe that it's not, yes, we're caught up in our emotions, but I also feel like we've gotten so used to saying that, like, when it feels right. When is it going to feel right? Does it feel right to be broke today? No. Then get up and work, you know.
As the saying goes, 90% of success is just showing up.
Yeah.
So if you answer that email, pick up that call, reply on time, usually things tend to gravitate towards. Keith, in terms of this issue here, how would you rate yourself? How would you rate as a
Look, man, I really, no, I'm a Google 5-star, but I really want to, I wish we could have another episode to nitpick on this thing that you're talking about now, because I found what happens a lot as a creative and as a maker is that I want to create or I want to make, right? And then it's like, oh, now I found out that, okay, in order for me to get the freedom that Rejoice is talking about, I need to spend 60% of my time managing people. Now I'm only making art 40% of my time. The other time is managing people and making sure emails are answered and making sure, you know, I need 70% of my time. I've seen that within a lot of artists. They look down even on that. It's like, no, you know, a lot of, it's this rabbit hole that we could get stuck in. And it's kind of, I'm always interested to understand how people are dealing with that, how artists are dealing with that kind of thing as well, because I see it happens a lot. I don't know if you have thoughts on it.
I think I can add to that. I think the first step in resolving any problem that you have is acknowledging and recognizing that you have a problem.
Yeah.
If you recognize that if, I think we discussed this yesterday, if you would not want to work with yourself, then you have a problem that you need to acknowledge. I think that's the first step that you really, if you don't see a problem with not answering the phone calls and so forth, then, when people don't treat you, take you seriously and don't offer you the work, even though you are the hottest guy in that specific area, you shouldn't be amazed and just acknowledge that they didn't give me the work because.
But the thing is, guys will, I don't know, guys will hear that Kentridge, I don't know, he doesn't answer his phone. That's why he's good. He doesn't, I'm just making an example, not that. And they get influenced by those things.
Word of mouth, eh?
Yeah, they get influenced. I don't know, Kanye West,
We all can't be a Kanye.
He sleeps in a stadium. You think he's got time to be responding to emails. So I'm also like, Kanye or whatever. You get a lot of those things.
He has an incredible team.
He does.
Goes back to that. William Kentridge has an incredible team. Kanye West, incredible team.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. I think we're done with that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Major point is how do you make moves in the industry? We have a quote here that says, the essence of strategy is choosing what not to do. What are the common mistakes, maybe we'll start with you, Nonka, that you found that artists generally make that hinder them from reaching their full potential?
For me, number one, noma yini poza yami as long ipatala. That's the biggest problem for me. As a graphic designer, if we had maybe when people speak and okay, cool, I don't know how much to charge. If we had a point where you can say the beginner stage is you can charge maybe 5,000 Rand for whatever you're doing, whatever you're designing. It starts from 5K going up. But if I come to you and I'm like, hey, please design this for me, I'll pay you 1,000 Rand, and you're okay with that, then you're messing up the entire industry. Because that means now the next person can come and charge you, ask me for 1,000 Rand as well. Yeah. When you know very well that you need to be charged 5K upwards. Yeah. So that's the problem. I feel like we all need to have a mark where we start. We start at 5K going up. That's why we probably need to have like an agency that actually trains creatives or speaks to or mentors creatives, so we understand the value of money and the value of our time.
Finance for Hippies a month ago gave a workshop at Braamfontein where one of the most asked questions was, how do I price my art? If you go into our website, we have some slides from the workshop where we recommended a few methods of how really to build your pricing, how to price your art, and gives you an idea of how to move within the... So what you're raising is a very reoccurring issue that every artist seems to have a problem with, is pricing and undercutting, because unfortunately they're strapped for cash at that moment. Tiff?
I agree with that as well. And I think maybe I'd like to hear your take on it.
Can you repeat the question again?
More specifically around the common mistakes that artists make when they're moving along their career.
You make or you've seen.
What you've seen or what you made before in your career.
Or regarding the positioning yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Or in terms of undercharging, yeah, I've realized what I do now is ask the clients, what's your budget? And also I got a mentor, the creative director from HomeCloud, helped me with writing down how to structure my pricing, and then gave me a percentage how much for a client that I've got packages for a client. If a client, and then discount it for startups, and how it works, because you can't price. A telecom can come to me and wants rebranding. I can't price them the same way I price a startup.
Okay. And some of the other common mistakes that you've witnessed generally in the art market?
It's, I would say, maybe lack of communication and not knowing who to approach, networking. So knowing who you are, you'll then know which spaces you want to find yourselves in.
And I think attitude also, attitude.
For sure. I think one CEO, I don't remember when asked about how he picks his employees, he usually said that it's not particularly about skill, but the attitude towards your work. So it's very important to maintain a positive vibe, as the youngins call it. And no one wants to work with people who are grumpy.
Yeah.
They just contribute to negative energy and poor performance overall. Like my colleague Tiff, but we'll not go into that. One other issue that I think you mentioned, that is actually the last major key, is, let's say you found a place where you want to be in the market, you are coming up in your career, you really do not know how to move to that position. One thing that I have recommended, and Finance for Hippies recommends, is the emulation method. For me, it makes perfect sense that if you do not know what to do, just do whatever the most successful person was doing. Evolution works in the same way. So we feel that it's the best way to answer that lack of, or not knowing what to do. One way of doing that is getting a mentor that you have mentioned. How has having a mentor benefited you? How do you select one? What are the benefits of having one? If you can just take us through that.
I've got two mentors. One of them are in the creative space. She's in, I joined a platform called For Creative Girls. So they select mentors who will mentor you in that space that you're in. So it's Kiara. She helped me with positioning myself and trying to find my own style, which I'm still trying to find. And then there's Daniel Scaffers, who owns his own agency, who's got a team and started it from scratch from Australia, came to South Africa, started an agency. So he then found ways on how to connect, how to get clients, and then he's the one who taught me how to be very deliberate and intentional with finding clients and going to spaces. Usually, back before COVID, there was a lot of workshops, a lot of networking sessions that would happen, office parties. You go to those things knowing that I want to speak to that person.
Which is key.
Yeah, because whomever you will talk to in your life, they know someone who might help you. Yeah. So putting yourself out there and asking those questions, asking for help, because that's one of the things that it was hard for me, asking for help, because I could do this, I could do it myself. Even now, it's like I still need more help. So having a mentor helps you to align and learning from their mistakes and trying not to repeat their mistakes, to make your journey probably might have taken them 5 years, might take you 2 years, because you have learned from them, and you developed yourself way better than what they've done in their journey.
Nonka, your view on it? Do you see any benefit in mentorship or something similar to that?
I do. I believe it's good to have a mentor, but I personally don't have a mentor. Well, she lives all the way in the States. So I have a lady that I've been following for as long as I could remember. Her name is Thelma Golden. She's a director and curator of the Whitney Museum, in New York. So I think she's incredible. And there's another one that's in Nigeria, Mama Nike. She runs the Nike Gallery in Nigeria, which is the biggest gallery in West Africa. Okay. And also I live with my so-called mentor. So my partner's always my bouncing board, and because he's so established in his career, I always act like I'm not listening to his opinion, and I don't care what he says, but I'm literally always taking notes.
Now he knows.
Now he knows. So I think my partner, Thelma Golden, and Mama Nike, those are the three people that I really look up to, and I love researching and making sure that I'm always aware of what they're doing and how they're doing it. So those are the three people that I really look.
Let's say you found a place where you want to be in the market. You are coming up in your career. You really do not know how to move to that position. One thing that I have recommended, and Finance for Hippies recommends, is the emulation method. For me, if you do not, it makes perfect sense that if you do not know what to do, just do whatever the most successful person was doing. Evolution works in the same way. So we feel that it's the best way to answer that lack of or not knowing what to do. One way of doing that is getting a mentor that you have mentioned. How has having a mentor benefited you? How do you select one? What are the benefits of having one? If you can just take us through that.
I've got 2 mentors. One of them are in the creative space. She's in, I joined a platform called For Creative Girls. So they select mentors who will mentor you in that space that you're in. So it's Kiara. She helped me with positioning myself and trying to find my own style, which I'm still trying to find. And then there's Daniel Scaffers, who owns his own agency, who's got a team and started it from scratch from Australia, came to South Africa, started an agency. So he then found ways on how to connect, how to get clients, and then he's the one who taught me how to be very deliberate and intentional with finding clients and going to spaces. Usually back before COVID, there was a lot of workshops, a lot of networking sessions that would happen, office parties. You go to those things knowing that I want to speak to that person.
Which is key.
Yeah, because whomever you will talk to in your life, they know someone who might help you. Yeah. So putting yourself out there and asking those questions, asking for help, because that's one of the things that it was hard for me, asking for help, because I could do this, I could do it myself. Even now, it's like I still need more help. So having a mentor helps you to align and learning from their mistakes and trying not to repeat their mistakes to make your journey probably might have taken them 5 years, might take you 2 years, because you have learned from them and you developed yourself way better than what they've done in their journey.
Nonka, your view on it, do you see any benefit in mentorship or something similar to that?
I do. I believe it's good to have a mentor, but I personally don't have a mentor. Well, she lives all the way in the States. So I have a lady that I've been following for as long as I could remember. Her name is Thelma Golden. She's a director and curator of the Whitney Museum, in New York. So I think she's incredible. And there's another one that's in Nigeria, Mama Nike. She runs the Nike Gallery in Nigeria, which is the biggest gallery in West Africa. Okay. And also I live with my so-called mentor. So my partner's always my bouncing board, and because he's so established in his career, I always act like I'm not listening to his opinion, and I don't care what he says, but I'm literally always taking notes.
Now he knows.
Now he knows. So I think my partner, Thelma Golden, and Mama Nike, those are the 3 people that I really look up to, and I love researching and making sure that I'm always aware of what they're doing and how they're doing it. So those are the 3 people that I really...
Finance for Hippies, Season 2. I'm pretty sure I'm the hardest in this show. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, we don't have time for this. What's up, guys? Season 2 Finance for Hippies. We've got a brilliant Mash Mashilo. He's going to be doing our episode 1.
I am Stamara Mashilo, artist, sculptor, farmer. Catch my podcast on Finance for Hippies. Be faithful to the nightmare of your choice.
War against broke, we fight, no white flag. I personally believe in that. You can read books, you can study, the people who are doing what, mimicking, as you said, you can study the moves they made, the problems that you are facing, they've had before, but it's almost like you're being mentored as well. That's why people release books and document the work they do as well, because not everyone has the time to sit with you one-on-one and say, do A, B, C. So I thought, I don't know if it's an abstract approach to it, to mentorship, but I don't know what the hot English word is. I know a proper,
I prefer the
Zulu word. He completely does not agree with that you can be mentored. So,
but I also think
that
some people could be You could look at them and think, this would be a great mentor for me. And then you get to know the person like, actually, this one is a bullshitter, you know? And then it doesn't work out for you. So I genuinely feel like there's elements you could nitpick and just be like, okay, I like that from this one. I like this from this one. And then see how it works for you. But I honestly don't believe that being mentored by someone really would actually help you succeed.
It's just as you had said, taking bits and pieces from different people and then creating your own. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's who you are, because it's your dad, it's your mom, it's your friend, it's your teacher who taught you in grade 2 that implemented and created who you are now. So that's life itself. So we should approach it in that manner, even in our workspace.
We had a former guest on our podcast who taught me that approach as well, Moresi. She spoke of mentorship in that way. She was like, you not necessarily have to have one person mentoring you. You can, you've got friends, you've got family. Sometimes that uncle who you meet, at family gatherings will just tell you something, that somebody paid, I don't know, whoever, to 10,000 to listen to at a some whatever thing. But, there's, the universe as well can... Didn't you say you hate that term, the universe? Someone told me they hate that term. But I feel, you can be mentored in various different ways.
But I think with that, it covers some of the key major points that we believe that once an artist refines, can really contribute significantly to the development. I mean, if you work on the market you want to pursue, your branding to attract that specific market, you build an incredible and impeccable reputation, then you decide which moves you need to take to even go further. And doing that maybe through a mentorship, I think that's a very solid type of key points to tackle in an upcoming career to really be in a position where you achieve whatever chosen goal you have. Teeth, any final points?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think in closing from my side, it definitely helps to have somebody who believes in you. I can never discredit that. When I constantly think of the lady who's helping me, I know it helps to just have somebody who, within your madness, still believes that this can actually get somewhere. So,
Thanks, mom and dad.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And
it's always, you didn't have a choice.
But exactly, but it's also cool when they come along. A creative career is not the easiest thing to choose.
Yeah, and that's
I actually beg to differ on that. I am on the opinion that the most important person to you is you. There's literally no one who can love you more than you. I know that because I love you more than me. So you have to believe in you eventually. Because I found that the people have limits. There's tolerances at which they will, entertain you. Even your own moms, there's a point where they say, hey, son, good luck. Then they give you a tap in the back. So, so imagine your mom, you tell him you want to wear a hat on a podcast and talk about money that you do not have. It's a bit shaky, to be honest. And a reasonable parent or partner would, have reasonable doubts.
I think I'm just super fortunate. When I was in grade 4, shout out to Miss Conway. So my teacher in grade 4 could see that I love drawing, I love painting. And she bought me this book that literally my style literally looks like the pages of that book. Till this day, I actually found my style through that book. And she used to enter I used to draw in class and she'd enter all my drawings into art competitions without even telling me. And then most of the time I'd win. And I'd be like, why is she always buying me presents? And then she's like, no, you actually won in the art competition that I entered you in. And then my parents picked up on that and they got me into art classes. So every Saturday and Sunday, I'd be going to art classes. And then I think my parents were comfortable with that because they could already see results from a young age that, hey, this one's actually good at this and she's winning. So I've always had parents that are super supportive of my career. And from a young age, they knew that this one's going to within the creative and cultural industries. So I'm fortunate that I've had those parents, and even with me just wanting to open up an art gallery, they literally funded it. And I was like, I'll pay you guys back, which not happening. But I'm just maybe I'm the lucky few.
Yeah.
No, that's
Like there was no.
Yeah, well, I think we can all agree that a positive encouragement and support is very important.
And culturally, sorry, I know you.
Yeah,
we are getting on the closing side of things. We are wrapping it up, but I also think I find it so commendable because culturally there can be issues where, again, it's just weird thing of whether it's the system or the world we live in, but where it seems like it's a problem if your parents support you on things. And that's actually what, that's one of the most beautiful things. I love stories of knowing that, parents were involved in supporting their kids do what they need to do. I look at my own family are very supportive in ways that they can be, and that makes a huge difference to me. Daki just needs himself and his hat.
For me,
he's good.
If I had children, they told me they wanted to be an artist, I'll highlight the suffering that
he'll take them to me.
And I'm not highlighting it for them. I'm highlighting for the fact that means I have to bankroll. So it's really me.
All my hard work must bankroll this guy.
Well, with those remarks, we would like to conclude our discussion today, which was, I think, quite fruitful. We're going to put it up on the Finance for Hippies and the Turban Art Fair website by the end of the week, so people who couldn't join us due to COVID restrictions can also stream. But I think as we always strive for, is to achieve a lot of key pointers that can open up artists to the discussion of better management of money, to not fall into the trap that you actually have to suffer financially to be successful. You can actually make a living being an artist. Teeth, final remarks?
Yeah, no, guys, I just wanted to say, everybody who's going to join this online and see this online, all the people who are also here, and especially to our guests, thank you guys for availing yourselves, within the notice that was given as well. Really, really appreciate it. I think the discussions that we have, I think it's all clear for everyone to see the kind of discussions we're trying to engage in. You check out our YouTube, check out our Spotify, our stuff is there. We're going to be rolling out our second season. Daki's explained that as well. So, ladies, maybe you can have a passing word to kind of...
Last advice to starving artists, what would you advise them to do?
Don't undercharge yourself. The money comes first.
I like that.
Yeah. I guess just love what you do and enjoy it. Live life.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Kardashian lady who quotes live life.
Yeah.
Courtney. Yeah.
Finance for hippies, teach swag and Daki. Finance for hippies, teach swag and Daki. Finance for hippies, teach swag and Daki.